So I opened my phone this morning, first thing, crust still in my eyes, honestly, and the algorithm just immediately assaulted me.
Oh, no. What did it serve you this time?
It was this video of a guy proposing to his girlfriend, but it wasn't just, a proposal, it was a production.
Right, the whole spectacle.
Exactly. We were talking drones spelling out "Marry Me in the Sky," a literal flash mob of like 50 dancers, and pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics that probably required a permit from the city.
Ah, yes. The proposal industrial complex hard at work.
The proposal industrial complex. I love that. And look, I mean, I'm not a monster. It was sweet, but it felt, I don't know, it felt loud.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like it was designed for the audience, not the couple. It really made me wonder, have we confused the performance of love with the actual feeling of it? Like, is it even real if it doesn't go viral?
It's a completely valid question. We live in this era of what you could call loud love.
Yeah.
Everything has to be externalized, captured on video, shared online. Grand gestures are basically the currency right now. But while there's nothing inherently wrong with a little spectacle, it often distracts from the actual mechanics of connection.
Which is exactly why I wanted to do a hard pivot for today's deep dive. We are stepping entirely away from the fireworks and the flash mobs.
Good.
We're diving into a source that is aggressively quiet. We're looking at a collection of short stories titled Whispers in the Shape of Love by author Abdullah Al-Khalifa.
It is such a beautiful collection, and specifically today we're unpacking just one story from it, titled Paper Planes and Sunday Mornings.
Paper Planes and Sunday Mornings. I mean, even the title sounds like one of those lo-fi hip-hop playlists you study to.
It really does.
But seriously, we have the narrative itself, plus we've got the author's notes on his underlying philosophy. And our mission today is to figure out how emotional connection is built in the space between words.
Right.
And we're going to use the two main characters, Nora and Elian, as our case study.
I think case study is exactly the right term here, because this isn't just a romance story, it functions as a blueprint for vulnerability. It really challenges this modern idea that intimacy needs to be instant and, accelerated.
Right. In a world of love bombing and swiping right, this story just asks, what happens if you just wait? So let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
The setting is super crucial here. We are in this quaint neighborhood nestled between a forest and a river. It's almost suspiciously idyllic. And right in the center of it, there's a flower shop called Bloom and Quiet.
Bloom and quiet. That name does a lot of heavy lifting.
It really does.
It's a manifesto, essentially. It signals that growth, the bloom, requires stillness, the quiet.
And the owner, Nora, is basically the human embodiment of that shop. The text describes her with these vivid details. She's got wild curls, a laugh like wind chimes, and she spends her days arranging petals and ribbons while listening to soft love songs.
She sounds lovely.
She does. Lovely, if maybe a little chaotic.
Well, she represents the natural world. Unruly, beautiful, grounded, and then you have her foil, Alien.
Yes, Elian. He is the observer. He's always wearing headphones, carrying a book, and walking with I think the quote is a thoughtful expression. The text actually says his mind seems to drift just beyond the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
He's the head to her heart, in a way.
Precisely. He's intellectual, very internal, maybe even a bit detached from his immediate surroundings.
So here is the setup, and this is where I need you to help me out, because my modern brain immediately started ringing alarm bells when I read this part.
Let's hear it.
Okay, every Sunday morning, Elian walks past Nora's shop on his way to a book cafe. They exchange glances. They smile, and they do this, wait for it, for a year.
A full year?
Okay, let's be real for a second. A full year. In our current reality, if a guy walked past my shop every Sunday for 52 weeks, stared at me, smiled, and never said a single word.
You'd call the police.
I ain't calling the police. I'm not thinking romance. I'm thinking restraining order.
Mm.
Is this actually romantic, or is it just creeping?
That is the modern reflex, isn't it? We view silence as a void that needs to be filled with data. Or worse, we view it as a threat. If someone isn't actively engaging with you, they're lurking.
Exactly. Lurking is the perfect word.
But if you look at the author's notes, Al-Khalifa argues that this isn't stalking silence. He calls it companionable silence.
Okay, how so? Explain the difference.
Think about the difference between being watched and being witnessed. The text specifically notes that Ilian never encroached on her space. He stayed on the periphery. He didn't demand her attention or her time. He just shared the space.
Okay.
It's this concept of vetting energy before you vet their words.
Vetting energy. I actually really like that. So instead of going on a bad Tinder date where you force conversation over lukewarm coffee for 2 hours, they spend a year just checking Does this person's vibe match mine?
Exactly. And the author mentions the immense value of presence. Love exists in the space between people who understand each other without needing to explain everything. So that year wasn't empty time. It was a foundation. By the time they finally spoke, they already knew on a subconscious level that they were safe with each other.
Ideally, yes. But eventually, someone does have to break the ice. You can't raise a family on meaningful glances.
Very true. And the catalyst for that is significant.
Right, so one Sunday, Elian finally stops. He actually peeks into the shop. And his opening line is, "Do you ever sell flowers, just for no particular reason?"
It's a test. He's testing the waters here.
And Nora's response. She says, "The best flowers are those not tied to an apology."
That line right there is the thesis statement of the first act.
Okay, I have to play devil's advocate again, though. The best flowers are those not tied to an apology. It's super poetic, sure, but isn't that a little, I don't know, snobby?
Snobby, how so?
Well, most of us buy flowers because we forgot an anniversary or we messed up and need to say sorry. Is Nora judging us for that?
I don't think it's snobbery at all. I think it's exhaustion.
Exhaustion.
Think about her job. She runs a flower shop. Day in and day out, she sees the sheer panic in men's eyes when they rush in at 5 p.m. needing a quote-unquote sorry bouquet.
Oh, that's true. The absolute dread.
Right. She sees flowers used constantly as a transaction. They become a currency for forgiveness.
That's a really fair point. She sees the cleanup crew of relationships.
Exactly. So when she says that to Elian, she's firmly rejecting the transactional nature of romance. She's saying flowers should be an expression of being, not fixing. She is craving a gesture that is proactive rather than reactive.
And Ilian gets it.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss a beat. He says, "Then I'll take the kind you'd give to someone you want to know better."
Mm-hmm.
Smooth. I have to admit, that is incredibly smooth.
It's smooth, yes, but notice what he didn't do. He didn't turn around and buy a dozen red roses.
Right. Because red roses are the loud love we talked about at the beginning. They basically scream, "I am romancing you right now."
Exactly. Instead, Nora picks out a single daisy, wrapped in soft brown paper, tied with a simple yellow string.
A daisy. It's almost underwhelming, isn't it? Compared to a massive bouquet.
But that's the whole point. It's unpretentious. A daisy is cheerful, it's humble, it's resilient. It perfectly fits the author's theme that true love doesn't require big words. A daisy is an invitation. A rose is a declaration.
And they definitely aren't ready for a declaration yet.
Not at all.
And just to keep the tension high, when she asks for his name to put on the card, he refuses. He tells her, "Not yet. Let's leave a little mystery."
He's protecting the pace of the connection. He knows that once names and job titles and all those societal labels get involved, the magic of being strangers kind of dissipates. He wants to linger in that unknown space just a little bit longer.
So this officially kicks off their actual relationship. He comes back the next Sunday and the Sunday after that. Sometimes they get coffee, sometimes they walk by the river. But they introduce this ritual, and this is the core mechanic of the story that I really want to dig into with you.
The paper planes.
Yes. The paper planes. Instead of just interviewing each other on dates, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's your credit score? What's your trauma? They scribble questions on the wings of paper planes and toss them to each other.
It is such a beautifully distinct visual metaphor.
Let's talk about the practicality of it, though.
Yeah.
Like the physics of tossing a paper plane at someone.
Right. Consider the physics for a second. A paper plane is incredibly flimsy. It's guided by the wind just as much as it's guided by the person throwing it.
Yeah, it can nosedive right into the dirt or land in the river.
Exactly. By choosing to use this specific medium to communicate, they are deliberately introducing risk.
It's not a text message that arrives instantly and perfectly autocorrected.
Mm.
You have to physically craft the vessel, throw it into the air, and just hope it reaches the other person.
And think about the emotional buffer it creates. You write a deeply personal question, you fold it up, which literally hides the words from view, and you throw it. The other person has to catch it, unfold it, and read it. There is a built-in physical delay. It removes the immense pressure of immediate eye contact. It allows for a level of vulnerability that might just be too intense if they were sitting face-to-face across a table.
It seems really playful on the surface, but the questions they actually write on these planes are absolutely not playful.
No, they are surprisingly heavy.
I mean, listen to a few of these. What's your favorite childhood memory? Okay, standard date question. But then it escalates to, have you ever had your heart broken? And do you believe in second chances?
Yeah.
Writing, have you had your heart broken? on a children's toy airplane is a massive paradox.
It is a paradox. It's treating potential trauma with a very light touch. It allows them to discuss really heavy, complex things without the conversation itself feeling suffocatingly heavy. It makes the scary stuff feel safer.
And because of that built-in safety, they reveal things to each other. They probably wouldn't tell a normal date for months.
Like Nora's coping mechanisms.
Right. Nora admits that she dances barefoot in the rain, and she literally leaves flowers for strangers when she's feeling down.
Which creates such a beautiful image of her core character. She actively processes her own sadness by creating beauty for other people.
And Elian reveals he writes poetry that he never publishes. And, oh, this one hit me really hard. He has a scar on his hand from saving his little sister from a dog bite when he was 10 years old.
That detail is so crucial because it grounds him. It takes him from being just the aloof intellectual observer with his headphones and turns him into a protector.
Yeah.
Someone who is capable of physical sacrifice for someone he loves. And look at how they learned all of this, through the paper planes. The text actually says the planes landed like secrets they trusted each other to keep.
It's incredibly effective. But I do want to pause on the dynamic of the relationship itself for a minute. The story describes their love as something that didn't rush or roar. It simmered.
The simmer versus the roar.
I feel like we are so conditioned to want the roar. We want the instant spark, the intense chemistry, the fireworks on the first date. Simmering sounds, I don't know, slow, like a crock pot.
Well, it is the exact difference between a microwave and a slow cooker.
That is a very unromantic analogy, but please go on.
Think about it. A microwave gives you intense heat instantly, but whatever you heat up cools down just as fast. A slow cooker takes hours, but the flavor permeates absolutely everything.
Okay, I see where you're going.
The roar usually burns itself out. It consumes all its fuel too quickly. A simmer is sustainable over a long period.
Yeah.
But, and the story makes this very clear, simmering does not mean easy.
Right. There was definitely conflict. It wasn't just holding hands and throwing cute planes at each other. They both had serious baggage.
Nora had this deep-seated fear that happiness was strictly temporary. Classic other shoe-dropping syndrome.
Oh, I totally relate to that. When things are going too well, you almost panic. You start actively looking for the red flag just to protect yourself.
Exactly. And Ellen was dealing with the ghost of a past relationship. The text points out that he was healing from someone who left without saying goodbye.
Ghosting. He was ghosted.
Essentially, yes. And that lack of closure is a uniquely deep wound. It creates a profound hesitation to trust again. If you have been abandoned without a single word, silence suddenly becomes a trigger.
Because it usually means they're pulling away.
Right. It usually means distance. So he had to learn that with Nora, silence didn't mean abandonment. It meant presence.
That is a remarkably tough lesson to learn. So you have two people who are absolutely terrified of being hurt again. What do?
They keep showing up.
Sunday after Sunday.
That consistency is the real hero of the story. It connects perfectly back to the author's note where he says, true connection is felt, not forced. The story explores the kind of love that lingers and waits. They didn't try to fix each other's problems instantly. They just witnessed them.
Which brings us right to the climax of the story. And I really want to set the scene properly for you because the atmosphere here is everything.
It's a great scene.
It's early spring. The world is just starting to wake up. There's this soft fog rolling in from the river, and they are standing beneath a blooming cherry blossom tree.
Cherry blossoms. That's classic symbolism for the fleeting nature of life. It's beauty that doesn't last very long, so it demands that you appreciate it right now.
Exactly. So Elian reaches into his coat. He pulls out a paper plane. But the text makes a point to note that this one is carefully crafted. He didn't just crumple this one together in a rush. And when Nora opens it, there is no question inside.
The inquiry phase is officially over.
Yes. Instead of a question, he wrote a statement. He wrote, "I'm not sure where life is taking me, but I know I want to keep flying with you."
It is a profound shift from curiosity to commitment. And notice the precise wording he uses. He openly admits his uncertainty about life.
Yeah, he's not promising some flawless fairy tale ending.
Exactly. He's not saying, I will love you forever and we will be rich and happy and nothing will go wrong. He's saying, I don't know where the wind is going to take us, but I want to be in the same sky as you.
That feels so much more honest than a standard, flashy proposal. And Nora's response, This is the moment that actually made me put my tablet down and just stare at the wall for a second.
The dried daisy.
She doesn't write a note back. She doesn't say anything at first. She just reaches into her journal and pulls out the original daisy.
Dried, pressed, and preserved.
Let's really think about what that means. That first Sunday was months ago, maybe a full year ago, and she cut it. She carefully wrapped it in paper and carried it with her this whole time.
It's the receipt.
The receipt, what do you mean?
I mean, it's the physical proof of value. Think about it. That dried flower is completely worthless to anyone else in the world. It's literally dead organic matter. But to her, it is the artifact of their beginning. By keeping it safe all that time, she's proving that she has been in it just as much as he has, right from day one.
Wow. It solves the mystery for him completely. He doesn't even have to wonder if she cares. The preserved flower is the answer.
Exactly. And then she finally whispers, using her voice to verbally confirm the contract. She says, then let's never stop folding paper planes.
She adopts his metaphor.
She fully accepts his method of communication. She's saying, I accept the risk. I accept the vulnerability of the wind. Let's keep throwing these things into the unknown together.
It's a really satisfying emotional payoff for that whole simmering dynamic we talked about. It proves that the slow burn was actually building towards something incredibly solid.
It really does. And if we zoom out for a moment, I think we really need to talk about why Abdullah al-Khalifa wrote this in the first place. Because in his notes, he makes a really fascinating distinction about literature itself.
Yeah, let's get into the philosophy behind the book. Because this isn't just a cute, fluffy story about a flower shop girl.
Not at all. The author states explicitly that some books are written to impress, and some books are written to understand.
To impress. You mean like those massive, dense books you buy just to put on your coffee table so house guests think you're smart?
Exactly that, the intellectual flex. The books with deliberately convoluted, non-linear plots and obscure vocabulary that you need a dictionary to get through. Al-Khalifa is saying he isn't interested in playing that game. He believes the most deeply powerful emotions are the ones that are never actually said out loud.
That ties right back into the Bloom and Quiet philosophy.
Right. This entire collection of stories is designed specifically for quiet moments. He's directly targeting the reader who feels totally overwhelmed by the relentless noise of modern life. It's meant to be an antidote to the endless scrolling, the notifications, the loud love that we opened the show talking about.
And it's available as an ebook, right? Whispers of the Shape of Love.
Yes, you can find the collection as an ebook on Amazon Kindle, and the author emphasizes in his notes that it's structurally designed to be read at your own pace. Just like Nora and Alian's relationship, the actual reading experience shouldn't be rushed.
So, bringing it all together, what does this actually mean for you? For the person listening to this right now, on the subway or while folding laundry or doing the dishes, because most of us don't live in a quaint village nestled by a river. We have stressful jobs and bills and exhausting Hinge profiles.
I think the ultimate takeaway here is about the bravery of patience.
Patience usually feels like passivity, though. Like you're just sitting around waiting for something to happen to you.
It can feel that way, yes. But in this context, patience is a highly active choice. It's the bravery to just keep showing up even when you don't have a guarantee of the outcome.
Yeah.
Elian didn't know if Nora would ever actually like him. Nora didn't know if Elian would just up and ghost her like the last guy did. But they both chose to go to the river every single Sunday anyway.
They invested their time without demanding a guaranteed return on investment.
Correct. In a world of constant information overload, we always want guarantees. We want to know, are we exclusive by the third date? This story passionately argues that there is immense foundational value in shared silences. If you can sit in total silence with someone and still feel completely safe, you have built something much stronger than a frantic conversation could ever build.
It's the difference between merely performing a relationship for an audience and actually inhabiting one together.
Very well put.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Whispers of the Shape of Love, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. We spent a lot of time today talking about those paper planes. We talked about the inherent risk of writing something deeply real on something so fragile and then throwing it into the wind.
The literal vessel for vulnerability.
Exactly. So here is my question for you to mull over. If you had to fold a paper plane right now and throw it to someone you truly care about, maybe that's a partner, maybe a close friend, or even someone you just want to know better, and you had to write one single question on the wing, a question that you're just too afraid to ask them out loud, what would you write?
That is a genuinely scary thought.
It is. It's absolutely terrifying. But the real question is, are you brave enough to let it fly? Think about that today. And maybe, just maybe, try letting the silence do the heavy lifting for a change. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
See you next time.